Oh, what's up, team?
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
Hi.
Hey, Karin.
How you doing?
Good.
So, because the way we kind of work this is you guys kind of go through, ask questions. If you've worked on anything, you can take a look at. I can give feedback. Whatever works for you.
Perfect. Okay. I just thinking back to the meeting, the retreat, and like trying to solve the problem for PE, where every time I hear Sparrow standards, I just think of our shape standards, and they're already Sparrow for us. And then there's three of the standards from a movement standpoint that we all use, and we went through, I think it was the end of last school year, doing our professional developments and just made sure that there was alignment. So I spent a lot of time looking at those standards, and then I just felt like I was redoing everything that we had already done. So then I thought back to Debbie gave us a bunch of prompts, a few prompts during the meeting that really like sparked some good convo. And one of the ideas was the thought of the GDS I will, or the GDS student will. And so like taking your standard and making sure that they're bigger than just like PE. So I thought about metacognition and the reflective practice of at making sure that at the youngest level we are teaching students to be practitioners, and then setting goals, reflecting, and then making sure that that's a thread that goes all the way through. We have a small problem when we get to 7th grade. Our students no longer take PE, and we have coaches coming there. Everyone has to choose a athletic, but because of it, there's no way to like make sure that they're sticking to shape standards. But at the same time, that's not what coaching is anyway. But we can definitely make sure that our students are still practicing the goal setting, reflecting, and then going back and readjusting the goal. Like we can do that through all the grades. So and then that also helps us. A few of the upper school teachers didn't really like the idea of standards. So Debbie, I appreciate you going through and breaking it up for us. Actually, the idea of practicing metacognition now as a skill makes a lot of sense for me anyway. And then also with some of the upper school teachers, and I almost felt like us talking about standards was like so far out of their minds that they couldn't wrap their minds around just coming up with something that everybody follows. So by us switching to skill based, and then me thinking about that conversation, what me and Donna, some of the work that me and Donna had done earlier this school year, I just thought it was a perfect time to introduce metacognition to the entire PE team, and then making sure that our coaches that come in from outside have some idea of the practice, and that's something that I'm willing to do in our coaches meetings. And then also create the artifacts. So if it's a Google form, if it's just a notebook, whatever the practice is going to take place in, like I'm more than confident that I can create that artifact, present the artifact, and have the coaches be okay with developing it. And then just thinking back to how we do athletics, we do have like an all team meeting at the very beginning of every athletic season, and then at the very end of athletic season. So even if it was myself, Pam, or Donna, one of the leads, walking everyone, the entire 7th, 8th grade through the reflective practice, the pre and the post, like that might be a really good time to do those things. We don't necessarily need to rely on the coaches to be able to do that. So that was some of the ideas that I had. I actually worked, I'm gonna send this to you guys in the chat. I worked out so the spiral from the different bands that Debbie created for, so pre-K to first, second to third, fourth to sixth, and then also seventh to ninth grade. So how would I get this to you guys?
So while you're finding that, sending it to me, you could create a reflection log that all kids, 7th grade and up, keep track of. So it's their job. So if I'm doing track, I'm setting goals for my time, my height, high jump. So they might be different for different sports.
Right.
But you require a reflection log.
Absolutely.
Where kids are setting a goal. They might be saying, what have I done to reach my goal? So they might be, I know all of my grandkids play sports, and my granddaughter's in middle school. They're starting like extra softball camp that goes all through August because they don't play softball till the spring. But they've got like pitching practice, and running, stuff, there's different skills. She could have a log that says each week when she goes, like what was her time on this, or how many pitches did she get over the plate?
Absolutely.
She could be working on what did I practice to improve my score. So think about how that might look, and your coaches could just be reminding kids to be filling in their logs as part of what they're doing for their PE requirement, grade for their playing sports.
Right, and it don't need to be like an everyday thing, just like quarterly or once every 2 weeks, where I made a goal. Maybe the goal is to take a dribble in a basketball game, which sounds easy, but some people just need to be reminded, like, you can dribble in a game. So and then the things that lead up to that, so the trainings, the individual practices. In the chat, I put the document. Hopefully that's the document.
Oh, yeah, I need access to
it.
Access.
All right. And then I had a little bit of help with the depth of knowledge too. I had Debbie, as we go through some of these things, I am fully reminded of like my engineering mathematic days. And so I was like, this depth of knowledge thing is like not new to me. And then I went and pulled out my, it's right here. I went and pulled out my teacher's edition math book, and every single lesson had a depth of knowledge, like 1, 2, 3, 4 for every single lesson. So I was like, yeah, I knew this was somewhere close to me.
That's funny. So some of the things you could have kids be doing is critiquing on like they might be watching a video of a clip from a practice, and they might be critiquing said movie.
Yeah. We did something really awesome in our basketball unit, and once again, shout out to Debbie for always just challenging us to be the absolute best version of ourselves. And we had, with most athletes, we struggle sometimes in the feedback department, where if you give feedback at the wrong time, it's unwanted. If you're in the middle of a game and your feedback is too loud, it's definitely not wanted and not heard. It's one ear out one ear, through one ear out the other. But Debbie gave us the challenge of making us think about our feedback. And this is when we landed on metacognition. And so one of the things that I was able to do was take our basketball unit and for 5th and 6th grade, and we set up iPads, and we had the students go through like a dribble assessment, a pre-dribble assessment, shooting assessment, and so for dribbling, it was if I was to dribble with my right hand, how many times can I dribble with my right hand, shoulder height, in 1 minute, and then they would record that number. And then as far as form shooting, they set up iPads and they got in small teams, and the video was on delay because just the red tape of recording kids. So we didn't want to hold on to that information, but we put it on a 10-second delay, and kids were able to shoot the ball, go to the camera, see themselves shoot the ball, get back in line without anyone saying anything to them. So just that self-reflection piece. And we were able to document this entire process. And then we went through the training, documented kids like just within their normal PE setting, some of the games that we played in. And then we were able to do post-tests. And the numbers were crazy. Everyone did amazing, except one. But I think there was some mathematical issues going on and some emotional issues going on, which is some more friction that we run into. But then we were able to have the kids like reflect on the practice, on their pre-test and their post-test. We allowed them to see both and record their reflection. So that process was cool. The introducing the camera was probably like top notch. We got something going on. This is amazing. But now to like get in the practice of doing that consistently is something that we need to do better at.
You know, your PE teachers could also create little video clips of, let's say, dribbling or passing that's right and wrong. So just like you would give kids a math problem that's solved incorrectly, they have to look at what the player is doing and critique it. What would improve this player's, you could even do it with music too, what would improve this player's performance? What do you notice is done well, there's what's done well, but you can create some little videos that you could use consistently.
Yeah.
I've had music teachers who do something similar where they would play like maybe 3 or 4 bars, and it's maybe played correctly or not correctly, and the kids are looking at the music and then comparing it to what they're hearing and saying, you know, the timing is off, or you know, whatever. So you can use critique. Critique is the easiest way to get to a DOK through critique and reflection, and it doesn't even have to be always their stuff. If they can recognize it in someone else doing it correctly or incorrectly, that's good too, because they have to be able to explain what about that is done correctly. Might be playing, like in music, maybe playing it with 2 different time signatures. Which one's the one that matches time signature they're supposed to be playing it in?
Okay.
Something like that. So you're really testing their ability to transfer, not just be able to play it, but hear it and say, "Oh, that was off," or "No, that was correct because."
Isn't it in some way? Because I think what is interesting about the music and PE, there's some piece of it that's not a piece of it. A lot of it is embodied, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing. Like I'm like at Mbappe level when it comes to the World Cup in my mind, because I'm looking at the play and I'm like, don't you see what's going on?
Yeah.
I can't even shoot a soccer ball, right? So, theoretically, I have it all backed up, right? And there is something powerful. I think in some ways, the like reflecting on watching other players has you in some ways a bit in the DOK one level, because you are thinking about it,
Right.
and you're making sense of it at a theoretical level. The other piece of it, what would it be for your own body to move, or for your own fingers, or for your own vocal cords to actually create that sound,
yeah.
that ideal performance that you're looking at? And that is something that doesn't live just in the intellect. That's the beauty of like the music and the arts for learning, because it's an embodied experience that we can mean, I've seen our incredible art. By the way, and I'm not just saying that because they're on the screen. Our arts and our PE teachers are like extraordinary. They're, I mean, I will sell them on any.
Just saying that.
I'm not, because Karin has watched me with other teams, and they're good people. Great teachers, awesome. But like, bar none, because this is other type of learning that the students have to do, and they're able to break it down so that the students can perform at that level. So, how do we capture that aspect of it? Is the looking at other people and then the looking at yourself and learning how to self-correct in the moment is where the power happens, right? And a teacher can only provide but so much scaffolding around. You need to put your arm up this way and up to your shoulder and like this, and then the kid just has to do it.
Right.
Has to do it for themselves.
Even taking little clips of like a before and after of students. So maybe at the beginning of a unit, you do like a little 5-second clip of pitching the ball or something like that.
Yeah.
And at the end, and then they watch their 2 clips, and they say, "This is how I improved over the course of 3 weeks." And they identify what they've done well, what they've learned, why they think they've improved on it.
I like that.
So simple things like that. I've had a lot of PE teachers who do that before and after type of thing. My softball player granddaughter also does competitive gymnastics, and so she'll get a score, and I'll always sit with her and say, "So what would improve that score?"
Right.
And so she is always, and I usually video her floor routine or whatever it is, and watch together, and I'll say, "Tell me what you did that was really great, and tell me where did you lose some points." So video is very powerful.
Yeah.
Video is very powerful.
It's been very helpful in my house these last couple of weeks with all this baseball and these at-bats. And I'm like, you know what? It don't even require a voice. Let me just pull out my phone, put it in slow motion. You could get it like that,
Right.
champ.
Yeah. Great. Years ago, we didn't have that, so make use of it.
I love the idea of like recording some good and bad examples of the teachers specifically for the kids to then give feedback on, both like what's going well and what needs improvement. And then they'll be able to maybe understand like why the coaches have to talk to them a certain way in a game. You know, if they start practice doing it themselves, and then once they give good feedback, like helpful feedback, not just criticism on the teachers, maybe they can start watching each other and try to support each other that way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You could do, like they do like station training. So at each station, kids are practicing a skill and they're giving feedback to each other as practice.
Right.
That's a strategy that you could use with the arts and with PE. So you don't have to watch everything. But if there's 3 kids in a station, I don't know, do they play recorders? Usually they do recorders.
Everybody in the school has a recorder.
They're getting each other feedback. Yeah, I thought that was an easy guess.
Yep.
But I mean, I think it's great if we teach them how to coach each other.
Yes.
And if we're doing that in PE and in music and in visual art, and like the kids are getting really used to how to give feedback in a way that is constructive, that would be a really powerful thing to know that all of us are doing that, and then they could do that in other areas because there's a lot of group work throughout the school.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the kids are pretty good at working together, but it's also like sometimes they think their product is good enough and it's not, and so like we're also teaching them how to continue to improve.
Right. And it could be as simple as, and I'll send some, I just made a note to send you a couple of articles on giving feedback. But if you have a simple, like a rubric, this is what it looks like when you're first starting out, and you have like, sometimes it's like you have 1 component, and now you've added 2 components and 3 components. And you say, where were you in this?
Right.
I was here because I did this, and I did this, but I'm still working on this last piece.
Right.
Okay, so some simple rubrics. Don't have a lot of information. They just say, hey, this is like just getting started. This is making progress. This is you nailed it, and this is you did something else interesting and clever or whatever. You extended it. You became the sports hero. You became Messi.
Messy.
Mbappe.
Yeah, I
Okay.
purposely did not mention this.
That's okay. Other thoughts? I'm writing down a few samples I'll send you of kids' self-assessments that you can maybe adapt for your work, or how to give feedback. Like sometimes they just need some phrasing. So should I give you some examples, but you just could adapt it to your content areas?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I also appreciated, Marquise, you're saying, like, you know, you have the spiral standards, the shape standards, like we have all of those in music too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious if the coaches, especially the ones who come in just to coach, are they making connections between some of the skills the kids have already learned just in PE to what they're doing in the athletic specifically?
I think there might be a disconnect there. There might be a disconnect. Only because of the idea of tryouts. So it's assumed that the kids that make the team already had the prerequisite skills to be on that team.
That's just something I've noticed in music, like especially when the kids go from general music to band or chorus or orchestra, they're not necessarily understanding that what they learned in my classroom applies to the new space. And so like those ensemble teachers have to help them understand, like, you have these skills, it just looks a little different in this context. I just found another similarity between our content.
I think that's a good point.
I wonder then, would there be some value in us? I mean, I think in just naming those spiral standards is having those ensemble people at least be leaders, at least be able to say, hey, these 4 skills that you were, the reminder, the retrieval of that information is important for the students. Because you know how it is. Like, they'll walk across the hall, like, forget a whole school year. They'll walk across the hall and, like, whatever happened in that room matters no longer. In a new context, it's like, okay, that was nice, right?
Yeah, it's like, hi, I'm still here, and I
Yeah,
still know your
it's
name.
like, nope, we're gonna start from scratch. So I think that the shared language will help.
Yeah, because it just reminds me of Debbie, when we've had the chance to have all of like performing arts in one space. Brad was so surprised at some of the stuff we were doing in lower and middle school general music with improvisation. Like, he thought he had to teach it all from scratch, and it's like, no, the kids have a context for this. So like just finding ways for him to even come and see it could be really helpful.
That's another example as to like why this work is so important. You know, like you don't have to reinvent it. We already did that. We good, champ.
Yeah, we already. The kids are ready for you. You just have to you just have to know how to talk about it.
Yeah. I want to stress the idea of shared language, because if kids are hearing that language, they'll get a connection a lot better than if everybody's talking about the same stuff in different ways.
Yeah.
Right.
So having some shared language, like the metacognition and self-assessment and the critique, how do you do it? Yeah, it's going to change based on the sport or if they're in band or chorus, but there are some consistencies.
Right.
So I think that's important for kids to see that they're not learning everything brand new. And I love the idea of teaching kids how to coach each other. Because that's really what you want. You don't want kids to be so reliant on you. I mean, even at the Olympic level, at the world level, they have coaches that will help you be even better. But players who know how to coach each other on the field or in the moment are going to have a better. I said Spain had a better team because they knew how to play together as a team, right? That was kind of the argument, and I watched those games. I'd have to agree. They were coaching each other at that point. They weren't running the sideline saying, "What do we do next, coach?"
So my son is in DC Little League All Stars right now, and his team is individually they are really, really good, but they don't talk to each other. They don't play together. They, all the team bonding that we've tried to do, like, it's not coming together on the field at all. And we had this long talk last night just about because Noah, he played one of the best baseball games I've ever seen in person in my life the other day, and they lost by 1. And there was no like feeling behind losing. And I'm like, hey bro, hey, listen, we don't lose, man. And so, and trying to get him to understand, like, yeah, even though you played well, you're still not talking to your teammates. You're not on the fence cheering and making sure that, you know, the person at bat feels good. You know, your pitcher just struck somebody out and everybody's like, oh, good pitch. No, like, get excited, go give them love, and they're like missing that piece.
Yeah. That's what I like about volleyball. If you ever watch volleyball, no matter whether they're doing it right or doing it wrong, the team comes together after every point and they like give high five and like, okay.
It bothers my husband so much.
Yeah.
My daughter's a player. He's like, why are they hugging it out?
Yeah.
I know, that's what they do, and that's
what
part
are
of
you
the
hugging
culture.
out right now?
Yeah. So Karen, do you know that our school is one of the best volleyball schools in the country?
I didn't know that. Oh
And-
wow! I had to tell my oldest granddaughter. It's like she's the like major volleyball person.
And it's trickled down. Now all the kids in the entire school is trying to be a part of a program, and like my daughter plays too. And I'm with you, Debbie. Like, it's a lot of cheering. I'm like, no,
Wait for people who. I think
It works.
I think so. You know, Christine and Marquise, what would it look like to bridge language around this coaching model? You know, I'm thinking Zaretta Hammond just published this new book, and a whole thing is around, she calls it cognitive redlining, and talks about the importance of developing students' independent capacity to learn on their own and to learn as a team. And what would it mean if we're thinking about GDS student will, our commitment around equity, justice, inclusion, collaboration, for the PE and the arts team to sort of take lead in what that looks like, right? What does it look like to be in an affirming space with each other? Because that's what we learned from volleyball. It's it actually doesn't matter. Like, we're playing together.
Right.
I'm not gonna make it better by making you feel horrible because like the play just happened. You know, we're not gaining anything from it. And so anyway, just putting it out there. What would that conversation look like if the language was similar?
Mm-hmm.
So that at least in our arts, in our PE, can serve almost as a model. You know, Karen and I just met with the math team, and like a number of places, Karen suggested, hey, another way to make this a DOK3 is to actually have the students pair up and build on this math, and then like exchange ideas. And we know from cognitive science the importance of the relationship and actually upping your game, right? Actually increasing rigor and increasing the depth of understanding that you have. So the thing you're seeing of Noah on the baseball team,
right.
Like we want our kids to go out in the world and be that kid that differentiate, that is always bring the people together, just knows intuitively that is part of getting better, whether in a game, whether in a business space, whether in the home life. So what would that look like? What could that look like?
Yeah, that's teaching leadership within a team.
Yeah.
And it emerges, we see it. There's always a few kids that kind of pull everybody else together in different ways, but calling attention to it when you see it, like that was great, and the way you supported that, or the way you helped to correct or give good advice to, the more teachers can do that, they know that that's a thing.
I feel like we probably need to establish a framework,
Right.
like almost a one-page piece of paper that all the teachers can have, and it could have some of those sentence starters to kind of start modeling for the kids. And then, okay, we see a product or, something just happened, we need to talk about it. What do we talk about first? Do we talk about what went quite well first? And then how do we talk about things we need to get better on? And, what are some next steps? So, because we do a lot of group work in music, and I'm just thinking about to this past school year, I had 2 6th grade classes. One 6th grade class, they would work as all 16 of them together to make these compositions they would come up with, and they were complex and beautiful, and they were giving each other great feedback, and they just seemed to know how to do it naturally. And my other group of 6th graders, I couldn't get them to work together as a class. They stayed divided into their little smaller groups. And even in those smaller groups, they really struggled at moving their product forward. And I was just, it would have been helpful to have pre-planned some like guideposts for them. It was just one of those things when the kids come in saying, hey, can we write our own song? And then you're like, sure, and one class comes together really well, and then you're like, oh, the next class will do the same thing. But because the first class was just so spontaneous and worked, I wasn't ready for the second class to not work. But just like, I think talking together as a music team, because we all do some of these projects where the kids are creating a good chunk of it, and just making sure that when we're doing this, we're leading through that reflective and revision like process in a similar way. Because I think we all do it just on our own, and we need to just come up with like that one pager of just like sentence starters.
I like that. I like that. That would, I mean, in 5th and 6th grade, we do intramurals, and the kids are grouped into different teams, 8 different teams. And one of the things that I've noticed is that it always works this way. The teams that are better connected and are working together, no matter who the leader is, they always have the most success. And I think this past year we had one team almost win the championship in every sport but one. And it was the new kid Drew, his team, and he's just like an amazing leader. So just being able to take that one pager and give it to all the students, like, oh, okay, so we're in this moment, we're working through something, and I noticed that, hey guys, why don't you pause for a second, go over there where it's posted on the wall, and have a conversation. That would be perfect.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Well, I don't have a list. I thought of 2 video clips that your teachers might want to watch. One is my favorite No, and I can send a link for that. But that's the idea of watching something that has the no is my favorite wrong thing. But there's good stuff in this too. It's a math, but you could see using a video clip for that. And first they start with what was done right and what does the student still need to understand to make it better. So that's like a protocol that could be used. And the other is it's a middle school in Maine where they have these little sentence starters, and kids have them like on a bookmark type of little sheet of paper. And when they get feedback, they're like marking down, did I use any of these sentence starters? Did I hear other people using sentence starters? And they'll have things like encourage others to participate or that kind of thing. So those are 2. I'll send links to those. Those are just worth watching because they work really well for the class that doesn't know how to give feedback. The other ones could kind of make that little list, and the second class could use that list.
Yeah. It's like I wish I paid more attention. I was just like trying not to ruin the magic.
Sure, yeah.
But also I should have been like, how are they talking to each other? What exactly are they saying? In a way that makes everybody feel affirmed. Yeah, nobody sat out. It was really magic for 6th graders, especially some of the kids we had.
Okay. Well, if after I send some of these materials, take a look. If other questions come up, I'm happy to give you ideas or feedback or send some other examples. But I've got some notes here, some stuff I can send on giving feedback. And I love the ideas that you've come up with. The idea of teaching kids how to coach each other, the reflection log, and that would work for all the arts.
Yeah, definitely.
They all have, if you had a somewhat similar format, it wouldn't be not a big overwhelming thing, but
that's what I like. That's why these moments are important, because we all are good teachers and we all have these good ideas, and why not build something together that the kids can see in multiple areas.
Right. So if you were saying you're all gonna, like in art, you might say you're gonna put together a portfolio of your work, but you could do that portfolio idea in any class. If kids are reflecting on how am I improving my skills playing basketball, or how did the team work together? So some of it is, I'm just thinking I'll send, I have a cooperation rubric.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's like K2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8 in high school. So part of it is you're getting feedback, but part of it is self-assessing, how you contributed, how you solved problems together. Just like something like that you didn't have to invent, but some of those might help with sort of a reflection log.
Got it.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I see, Christine, have you had a chance to write anything, like fill out any of the templates or?
So, yeah, I started. It's just like I keep going back and forth because we have spiraling standards, and they're kind of built around the content area, the skills of like pitch, rhythm, form, movement, ensemble. And then each grade level, they get more complex. But we keep teaching those main things over the years. So one thing I started thinking about is how do we as a music team kind of make sure that we're doing a similar like DOK4 type project? And is there a way to make it so that we're all doing one at a similar time of the school year so we can kind of see across different classrooms how it's going, especially in lower school because we share the grade levels. So like Heather and I teach 3rd grade, and John and I teach 4th grade, and Heather and Regina teach 2nd grade. So just, I think we need some time to kind of identify, I started calling it like a capstone, but just some kind of big project like in 2nd grade, in music class, this happens every year. And just trying to get together to identify a project first of all, and then how do we develop it in a way that the kids are really showing that they're learning all those skills that we say they should be learning in that grade level.
So I'm going to suggest, probably can see this, but the rigor matrix for fine arts, it's broken out into, at the bottom row, criticism and reflection. There are some examples of different DOK levels there. Creative expression, exploration, and production. That'll look different in different arts. But perceiving and performing. So when you watch something, how are you interpreting it? But I think the critique and reflection line of the rigor matrix for the fine arts might be a good starting point to say, what are those things we do at a DOK 1, 2, 3, or 4? Across the different classes that we're teaching. Yeah. Like when you're doing a performance, it would be really easy to say, let's listen to a recording of the chorus performance.
Right.
And let's look at how were we doing on different aspects of that, and as a group critique. How can we improve it next time? So, video clips from a game. You can almost always watch something and say, oh, it would have been so much better if, positions kids are playing or whatever.
Right.
So,
and I'm thinking, Christine, because each grade level has its performance moment, I think they do, right? Like the major assemblies or...
Yeah.
So... I'm wondering for a 1.0 version of integrating the reflection around that big performance.
Yeah.
If that's something, that is doable and.
It is. It's just, we also are really interested in kids creating their own music. And sometimes that doesn't have the place in the major performance just because there's so many traditional songs.
Right.
But one thing I did this school year was my 3rd grade class wrote their own piece that we played in the Passover assembly, like a xylophone piece. And so we composed it together. And I think the way that I did it with the kids, other teachers at GDS could also have success. And so can we come to an agreement that that's the new 3rd grade tradition of taking the model that we all use and teach from and writing our own music. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It was
especially because it's such a traditional simply, right? And to sort
Right.
of say, like, you can have tradition and still have space for evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, let me tell you, those kids they can't get any prouder than saying that they played a piece they wrote.
It's amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's great. Those are good ideas. Yeah, you don't have to change what you're doing, but look at what you're doing and say, how can we stretch it a little bit?
Right, and so that's kind of where I landed as I started gathering basically everything I teach in a grade level, putting it all on one spreadsheet, and then hopefully me and the other music teachers, we can like add things that they teach, or we can say, why are we teaching this song in second grade when the point of that song is a first grade skill? Let's move it down to first grade.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the next step for us in music anyway. It's just like looking at what we're teaching, identifying why we're teaching it, and then deciding should we still be teaching it when we're teaching it.
Yeah.
So, and then from that, we could decide on some moments for the bigger project that takes the course of several weeks. Our 5th and 6th grade general music, we started a new routine of when the kids are about to rotate out of theater, we have the theater kids show off what they worked on in their 7 weeks of theater, and then the 2 music classes also get to share. So we've found an opportunity for more performance, but it would be great if Regina and I spent the time to actually decide, like, in this rotation, here's the skill set that we're focusing on, and then the kids could have that moment of the reflection log and just kind of keeping track, during, this time in music class, here's what we actually were working on, instead of just like, I like that song. Here's the actual skills we learned.
Right. Yeah, I like it because.
Right.
So that's where having some kind of a rubric that says, the things you're looking for in a theater production or whatever.
Right, and the
Did
kids
they nail it? Did they have improved upon it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, it fine tunes what you're looking for.
Right, and that's
what
one nice thing.
evidence you would be supporting.
Yeah, the theater teacher Marcel, he does have a rubric in a sense for the audience to assess the performance.
Oh, okay.
And so we haven't created that for like the audience to assess the music performance they're seeing. It's been more like just a sharing, and that's what it is. But since they're getting a grade from theater, they can also get it from music.
We used to do that for group presentations in engineering, where
Okay.
as a group is presenting, everyone else gets a rubric, and you're like evaluating what you see.
Yeah, and I think it helps because the kids know whose stuff is good, and the kids know when it doesn't work, but they might not always know why something is good. And then we can help them understand the why if they have that rubric that they're looking at. So.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I always feel like we get off of these calls and then I have homework. I'm looking at like 2 pages of notes of things that I think might be useful, but a lot of good little just peer feedback tools.
Mm-hmm.
Individuals, groups. So some of them might be useful.
Yeah, I hope so, and maybe it'll help with how kids interact with each other outside of the classroom too, if they're used to engaging with each other.
I think so. I think it's teaching them how to give feedback is huge. Once kids learn how to be respectful, I can critique it and I can be respectful in my critique because I'm being objective. I'm not critiquing you.
Right.
I'm critiquing what you produce, and I'm giving you some good suggestions. Like one little tool I have, which is, it has like 3 criteria. Be kind, and that's the first one. Say something that was done well. Be specific. Identify something that could be improved, and then be helpful. Take a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing that, you're not going to say, that stunk. That was stupid.
And these are, once again, like lifelong skills. You know, like they take you well beyond GDS. And I think for me personally, that was like my number one goal in attacking this assignment, was just making sure that whatever we come up with is something that students take beyond the classroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Those are the durable skills.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So Marquise, I will in like a week, because I thank you for sharing the draft of something, and I will read it carefully.
And it's a lot extra. Like I wanted, for my own mind, I wanted to see what it would look like to go from unit to, or the spiral to the unit, into the lesson. So there's like a mock lesson in there for the 5 components of fitness. And yeah, so it's just a draft document, so I'm just working in that document directly.
I won't do like a line by line, but I'll.
No, it's perfect. That's
because I can't read it while talking to you all, so I want to make sure that I.
Right, but I'll go through as well, and if I see, I'll make some suggestions if I see areas where I might suggest some wording or something. But you've obviously put a lot of work into this, so.
It doesn't open for me, Marquise. I'm curious how you structured it.
Did you try to open it again, because I had to change the settings?
I don't know, my computer, it's just giving me a sad folder face. It's not even saying I need to request. Like, I don't know if my computer just is tired. It's the summertime, like, why are you trying to work?
It's like, why are you working in the summertime? What is wrong with you? I'm going to try to send it to you, the one that I have open. I'm going to try to send it to you in your Google chat. I don't know if that makes any difference.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Because right now we have like 4 different spreadsheets that the music team has developed, and it's just like, they're all saying something slightly different, but there's something similar about them all. So I've been sitting with them and trying to see, like, is this really the way we want to organize everything, or is there a better way to go about this?
Right, that's why I was asking about the writing, because part of what we're testing as a team is whether or not this curriculum template that we design is going to be broad enough to hold everyone, but give enough direction so that it's actually useful.
Right.
And so that is, that's what I feel. Can you open it now? I'm not sure if you can open it now, but that's the headers that are in Marquise's document are the headers of this curriculum template.
Oh, okay.
That's what we, on that retreat day, that's what we try to pull together after a lot of drama.
Yeah, you shared that with me when I met with you earlier this summer.
Yeah.
And I
so
added,
that's why I wanted to see, does it work for everyone? Where does it fall apart?
I added the actual standard too. So I created the spiral for the different bands, and obviously in their unit it will start with that. But then, like, what shape standards are we working on, and how do we infuse the spiral standard with the shape standard? I keep saying spiral standard. We changed the wording. It is now.
I don't even remember what we call it.
It is now spiral academic skills.
Yes, because high school, they were like, if we say standards, everyone's gonna run for the
absolutely.
Okay, that's fine.
And I was
whatever they need to say to make it
I know, I was like, yo, I don't care. Call it strawberry shortcake. Just get it done. I'm not wedded.
I will be able to open the link, I think, Debbie. I can see the preview. I think I just need to reset my computer.
Okay.
So I'm glad the Zoom worked. I started looking at that template, Debbie, and it's helpful to see how Marquise attacked it, and I think that'll help me move forward and test it out for music also.
I'll share the math one, not because the content will be useful, but just because we just got off the call with them, and so you can see another model. And listen,
it would have helped if I was if I were at the retreat, it would have helped. Sometimes I have to see an example, and if I'm not in the room.
And to be honest, like, this is really the team where if it doesn't work, it's fine. We can adjust it. That's why it's just a small group of people. It's just that when we go live and we're sort of saying, everybody use this template with 170 people, that's not where we want to test drive, right? So it's annoying to folks. So it is fine if, like, oh no, we need a little bit more of this or a little bit of less of that. I'm perfectly fine with it. I just wanted us to have some scaffold to hold this information, because that will then help us figure out what our curriculum platform is going to look like.
Yeah,
that's where that's going.
But feedback I've given to the other groups is really saying, how could you push the skill to the deeper level? You can push it by critiquing, by self-evaluation. I often use the analogy, if you're not at practice doing the drills, you're playing the game. So you're putting the skills together to do something with them. You're doing the performance, which requires multiple skills put together in a way that's cohesive. So that's the piece you want to build into these templates. It's like, we know you can teach the skills, but then can you watch a video clip and decide what's done right and what needs improvement, and suggest maybe an activity or an exercise that would improve? You know? Could be anything. It's anything they're learning. And all kids don't have to answer all questions, but they're good small group discussion questions. One group's talking about pitch, another group's talking about rhythm, for the same performance. So collectively, you're good at critique as a class. So are the All-Stars all done with their games? Well, another grandson's playing baseball. They almost made it to the finals. They did a great comeback, didn't quite make it at the end, so they got knocked out. So nobody else is competing right now.
We changed the format this year where the 5 teams play through they do basically a pool play to figure out the rankings.
Okay.
So we just finished, and we second to last, but we lost one game 2-1, the other game 3-2. So it's up in the air. We can. It depends on the boys. It really depends on the boys.
Right. Yep.
But I tell you, I wasn't prepared to spend my entire summer in DC going to baseball every day. I don't even like baseball.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for this.
Oh well.
And
Look,
there goes your vacation.
There you go. I'm an indoor sport type of person.
Any vacation you might plan.
Yeah.
Indoor sports for Marquise. Okay.
I didn't have a tent. I didn't have a cooler. I didn't have chairs.
Now you know how to cook prepared.
There you go. There you go.
Now you got all that stuff.
Definitely working on this tan before.
Okay.
Well.
All right. Well, I will follow up with materials. I'll get back to you after I look at the draft you have, Marquise, and just any suggestions.
No.
But good work.
All right.
Good thinking today.
Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
all.
And Christine, I will reach out and connect with you.
Yeah, sounds good.
All
We've
right.
got a lot in common, I think.
Yeah, we do. All right. See you guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Yo.
Can you please have a conversation with Noah about like whether he's actually wearing deodorant or not? Because he only wore this shirt for one game and told me he needed to wash it, and I'm sewing on a thing on his sleeve and I can smell it.
He played in the sun.
Without taking showers, maybe. Just wondering if this is something that needs to be talked about a little bit more. That's all.
Are you ever on him and wonder what that smell is?
What?
Are you ever on top of them and wondering what that smell is? On top of him, wondering what that smell is.
On top of you?
Him. Like in close proximity, just like, yo, you are funky.
Yeah, I have before. I spent a good shower before. No. But I thought we were on the up and up. I thought we were moving in the direction of like